Mm.
Are we live?
Yeah, we're good.
Still opening the chat. It's a very slow, laborious process to get going here.
We're live, Chris.
All right. Hey, hello, everybody. Welcome to the Awesemo.com Live Before Lock Show, where we'll be taking you through today's abbreviated slate for a Thursday. But don't fret. You have me here, Chris Spags, joined by the greatest mind in baseball. That's why his website is baseballsavant.mlb.com. Jake Hari. Jake, how are you doing today?
I'm doing well. Just 6 games. I like the size of the slate. It's grown on me, this slate in general. So me and Josh played around with some lineup construction this morning, and I'm excited to fire some double punt pitching options out there. Pay up
Yeah,
for
so
every
what
bet.
are you doing tonight? I guess premium members right now, you can check out Awesemo's article for the day, which is his top pitcher percentage, breaking down the likelihood, or I guess perfect pitcher is the branding name, which he breaks down the likelihood of each pitcher finishing atop the slate. So let's start with pitcher in honor of that. What are you doing tonight? You said maybe double punting. What are you doing with your pitchers?
Yeah, so I'm playing Verlander, I'm playing some Paxton, I'm playing some Hap, but I have a lot of Suarez and Nova, and I know that's going to be chalky, but it's just, you can get, I think a lot of people are going to have Paxton or Verlander in their lineups, so if you go lighter on them, you're going to get a lot of lineups that are super different. So, I mean, it's just appealing in that way. Short slate, you can get in every bat you want. I have some Tyler Anderson. I have some Hap, Yanni Chirinos. So I'm kind of all over the map with these guys down in the low tier. Just probably lower on Verlander and Paxton just for lineup construction reasons, not because I think they're bad plays.
I get where you're going with that. I don't mind Nova tonight. I'm not a big Nova guy. Jake and I, before we were coming on the air, we were talking about I am very much going against the Andrew Suarez train tonight. He's going to be that highly owned. A pitcher who is that bad versus righties, I think, is a spot to attack. A little concerned about the Vegas total there, and I think that would benefit anybody who is a Suarez believer tonight. But for me, I think the righties in the Pittsburgh lineup and the way that they stack that lineup as well, really loaded up with righties in the bottom half of that. Starling Marte actually is the one that I would skip. He's been brutal versus lefties recently. A 46 WRC plus, which is just bad.
Yeah.
I don't get how he's that bad versus lefties, but talked to Josh about this the other day, and he was like, doesn't matter, he's a good value, and he put up a fucking 0 in Coors because he's not good versus lefties. He just can't hit the ball. So I like going against Suarez more than playing him. Nova I'm okay with. I don't know. I think I'm with you on the approach of getting off of the Verlander Paxton train. I do wonder, though, if maybe those guys are not the way to go, given how highly owned they're both going to be and how not good they both are.
Yeah, I mean, wait, how not good? Oh, you mean Nova and Suarez?
Yeah, Nova.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
Nova and Suarez, for them to be both owned. I mean, 22% right now is our projection for Nova.
Sure.
Suarez over 35. They're not good enough to me to justify that. I get it's a pitcher's park, I get it's low totals, but it's a lot of ownership for guys who aren't that good.
Yeah, I mean, that's fair. They're not that great, but it's a great park, and it's a really, really good hitting night, so it's kind of hard to avoid. Even Tampa, I think, is in a good spot. I just love these top 4, the Dodgers, Rockies, Red Sox, and Yankees. It's hard for me not to experiment with some Nova Suarez all over the place.
No Ryan Barucki for you. I feel like you've railed against him in the past. Mike actually asked that at the same time. I didn't even see your question, but there we go. Barucki, a pitcher who doesn't give up home runs, at least thus far in the majors, has not given up any home runs at all yet. Probably due for some regression there. But no Ryan Barucki for you?
Very, very minimal. Let's see what I have him on DraftKings right now. I guess I have him at 7%. I still have to crunch one more time, so I won't end up with 7% Barucki. I'm going to get my exposure down there to Tyler Anderson in Coors. I know it's the highest total on the board, but Anderson's good, and I don't think Barucki is good. So, and we've seen Anderson have success in Coors too. So that's where that exposure is going to go.
I don't mind Barucki tonight, but I guess with Anderson, it's all relative because they're both pretty similarly projected for the same ownership, rather. But I like Barucki a little more just because he limits that home run contact pretty effectively. Like, he's not giving up hard contact at all thus far. And if you are going to go against the Red Sox, going against them with the lefty is the one spot which they might have some weakness. Not a play I'm making a ton of tonight, but I do think a little bit of Barucki does make sense. How about Ross Stripling coming off of injury? Somebody just asked that in the chat.
Yeah, I'm not really on Stripling. I mean, I understand it, but he hasn't looked as good to me over the last few starts. And it's Coors. You just never know. You at least have some sort of a sample size with Anderson. Stripling could have a good start, but he's 7,200. It's not like he's 5K. And I just prefer all these other guys ahead of him, including the guy on the other side. So I don't have much Stripling at all.
I don't hate Stripling a little bit, but coming off of an injury going into Coors seems like a bad combination. He was getting a pretty decent swinging strike rate last time. Really good chase rate his last couple outings. So I don't mind the play, and I think I think there's a logic to it. And at 10% owned or whatever he's going to be, I think it's not crazy.
No, I don't think anything's. I don't think anything's crazy on this slate. Honestly, when you've got ownerships this high, and there's 12 teams, I mean, get it different somehow is how I would do it. I mean, you always want to do that in GPPs, but it's not that hard tonight.
We got some people in the chat who are touting their wins. Jason Sullivan crushed a GPP this afternoon, 1, 2, 5 in 8th place. Congratulations, Jason.
Oh, nice. What tourney?
What's tourney, Jason? And then Ian Lindquist is increasing his bankroll since going a premium a month ago. He's wondering if there's any way to leave a review. I don't know how you would leave a review. I don't know what reviews DFS sites. Go on Yelp.
No, just keep renewing your membership. That's how you leave a review. And tell your friends about Osmo if they play DFS. Yeah,
tell your friends, tell the chat all the time.
Give us the like button. That's a review right there.
Oh yeah, make sure to like and subscribe. So like this video, subscribe to the channel, get all of our content, help us out, help us bump our way up the power rankings of the world. Go after that bastard Jake Paul. That's what we were going after.
Yeah, that bastard.
Let's see, exposure to Hap. We didn't talk about J. Hap a ton. He's a guy who actually finished pretty highly up Osmo's perfect pitcher ranking, so the likelihood of him finishing a top slate is pretty good. How are you approaching him tonight, coming off of his foot and mouth, hand, foot, ass disease, whatever?
Yeah, at least it's not something with his, with his arm or like his finger or like blisters or anything like that. So I'm not worried about it. Hand, foot, mouth is kind of brutal, actually, if you've had it as an adult. So it's not I get why you went on the DL. It's not just like, oh, this guy's soft. But no, I think.
Wait, did you say you've had it?
I've had it. Yeah.
What does it entail?
It's just like it feels like you have strep, but you can't do anything for it. Like it's gross. You feel terrible for like a week. So yeah, not comparing myself to J.A. Happ. Like I just had to sit there. He's got to go pitch in the MLB. Jake Bauer's dong tonight. I like that. Yeah, I like Happ quite a bit. He's a nice pivot from Paxton and Verlander too. You're just gonna get way different. You could go with Happ and Paxton or Verlander if you can make that work. That's another way to get different because people are just gonna plug in one of those top two guys and then go down to Suarez or Nova. So in like a tier by himself, I have no issue with Happ. There's a lot of strikeout upside on that Texas team, and if he leaves with the lead, he's probably racking up a win with that Yankee bullpen behind him too.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think that all makes sense. And Happ grades out pretty well. And obviously the Rangers strike out a decent amount, like on a lineup basis. I think as a team, they're not striking out a ton versus lefties, but individually, Joey Gallo strikes out 40%. Odor and Chu should have tough days as well. And Happ limits the home runs to lefties too, which is a lot of where that damage can come from. So I don't mind Happ as a play. Yeah, I think he's at a different price point. I'm a little more curious about Porcello. I know he's not a favorite of yours, or at least I don't think he is. I feel like we've talked about him before. He doesn't grade out spectacularly well, but he had a really nice outing last time. I mean, not that that's an indicator of future success, but going against Toronto seems pretty beatable, pretty okay total, some strikeouts there. I'm wondering if Porcello might be the guy instead of him.
Yeah, I haven't heard much talk about Porcello really all day. So just for ownership reasons, he's also I think he's a fine pitcher. All right, I don't think he's great for DFS, and especially not great for 10K, but just a way to get different. And there is some strikeout upside. He's getting a bunch of righties. He's actually striking out more lefties than righties this year, but does a good job limiting hard contact. He's a favorite. We've seen him have decently big starts. I think he's gotten up to 7 and 8 strikeouts a couple times this year. So it's not out of the realm of possibility that Porcello could pace one of Paxton and or Happ. I don't think he's going to get close to Verlander as long as Verlander's right arm doesn't explode. But yeah, I don't have a problem with Porcello. He just didn't end up on a lot of my lineups.
Yeah, I think just in terms of a slate this size, I'm trying to think of any way you can get different. And I think if you have a pitcher who does have just shown 40-point upside versus a much better team, you get him at 7% ownership. Yeah, he put up 41 against the Yankees.
Oh, did he just throw a complete game? That's right. Yeah.
Yeah.
So I looked at that one. Now it's all coming back to me. 86 pitches, a complete game with 9 Ks. That's like one of the most efficient starts we've had all season. Probably the most efficient.
I can't imagine he's going to do exactly that again today. But, still,
I didn't know it was on 86 pitches.
He does 30 points. I think, that would certainly put him in the range of what Verlander will do. And so I don't know. I just think it's something to think about if you are playing a bunch of lineups. I think Porcello is a play that could be different. People are talking stacks already. People are talking about my stack of the night, Tampa Bay. I love Tampa Bay tonight. How are you shaking out with stacks before we get too much into my Tampa Bay love and I just jizz all over the screen?
Yeah, so on DK, I'm going all in on the Dodgers and the Yankees. And so those will be my main stacks on every single one of my teams. I love both of those teams. We got the Dodgers being surprisingly relatively low owned. Like Machado and Dozier have decent ownership, but then the rest of the team is pretty low owned as a whole. So I've got a bunch of Dodger stacks. Like half my teams will be 4-man Dodger stacks, and then on the teams I don't have Dodgers, I'll have a bunch of Tyler Anderson with Yankee stacks. So that's kind of how I'm approaching it, hoping one side goes off, or Anderson just gives up a couple solo shots and cruises. So that's where I'm at for stacks on DK. On FanDuel, I don't know what yet I'm doing, but I'm playing really low volume over there.
Yeah, I'm with you on the Dodgers. I think they look good. Where I don't love it is the ownership, and what we talked about with Tyler Anderson as well. But he does do a good job getting soft contact, not getting super beaten up. Not true of his last start. His last start he got destroyed, or his last couple starts he got destroyed. But overall I think I don't love the ownership creeping up throughout the day. I do think that you're right. You can kind of go down the order a little bit, go to Kike Hernandez, Bellinger, maybe get a little bit of a decrease in ownership and not a much worse opportunity. But if you're going to go with like Turner and Dozier and Machado, like they are going to be pretty chalky. And I don't know. I think there might be other places to go tonight that aren't as obvious. I think is how I feel about it. Like the Dodgers feel very obvious to me, and that's sort of where I just want to go somewhere else. That's
kind of what I was feeling like this morning, but they were lower owned than our projections had them lower owned than Colorado, and they just have better hitters than Colorado, and then we also had them lower owned than the Red Sox and the Yankees in total. So that's the appeal for the Dodgers. I don't know if that's shaken out and they've kind of flattened out, but if that's even going to be close to the case, I'm going with the more talented team.
Yeah, I'm with you on it. And then the Dodgers do grade out pretty well. I think Justin Turner probably grades out as like the best player overall on the slate today. Just really good versus lefties, and obviously being in Coors will be another big benefit. And he seems well worth the 20% ownership price tag that's coming with him. By the way, if you're not a premium member of Vossmo.com, it's always a good time to do it. But all the ownership projections stuff that people ask in the chat, available for you just to review all the things that we reference to kind of build our lineups and work backwards. You can go check that out now, become a premium member. Also have some NFL stuff coming up soon, full season passes, some early bird discounts, lots of stuff coming. So go keep an eye out for that. But do MLB now. Just join.
Yes.
Does Baraki have a chance tonight against Boston? The more and more I look, the more and more I think he has a lot of potential tonight. I think he does. I think he does a good job limiting damage, and Boston is not great versus lefties. So I don't think you're wrong, Zach. But Jake, your Baraki take again.
He's got a chance. He's survived in basically every start so far this year. So it's like he's done it before. He could do it again. Maybe something in his delivery. I haven't watched much of him, but there's no reason to think that good hitters shouldn't hit him really hard. Like, his stuff isn't great. He doesn't get a lot of swinging strikes. He doesn't get guys to really chase that often. So you put Mookie up there. You got JD and Steve Pearce, who I love. Those three are three of my favorites, even though I didn't include the Red Sox in my main stacks because I'm just going with those two, the Dodgers and the Yankees. But I really like some hitters against Baraki.
Just Sean B in the chat, like talking. He loves talking about the things that the one thing he gets right on the slate. Mike Fiers owns the Dodgers. Told you it doesn't matter that he owns the Dodgers. What matters is that he had a low total. That was what mattered. That was a sign to pick him. It wasn't anything else. It was that he had a low Vegas total. That's why like I'm going against Suarez tonight. But like Suarez has a very low total, and it worries me that I'm going on the wrong side of that. But that's why Vegas. I feel like we're touching on all these themes every show, and people just kind of don't pay attention. But that's why Vegas lines are where they are, every single time. That's why they are where they are.
I hear Vegas is pretty good at what they do.
Yes, especially in the most predictable sport in the world, where they literally give you numbers that indicate how often things are set to occur. That is generally why Vegas does well. Let's see. Do you want? I guess home run picks we'll do in a couple minutes. We usually do them a little closer to 3:30. Fortunately, nobody had a home run last night, which hurts. But we will definitely be making some picks today. And Ji-Man Choi is definitely in the mix for my pick, but no spoilers yet. What are you doing with Yanni Chirinos? You were on him this morning. How are you feeling about him?
Yeah, I saw that in chat. I was gonna bring that up. I like Yanni. There's always a chance that he just doesn't get in. So that's happened. It happened with him last Friday, I believe it was. And I had a bunch of him. I think I had 50% Yanni. It was well over the field. It was looking great until he didn't get in. So I think that happened with Faria a couple nights ago. People were on Faria. I just ignored the Rays that night. So I've only been burned once, but you got to know you could be taking a 0 if the Rays do something funky. So that's the risk, but I think he's got a lot of strikeout upside if he can get into the game, especially if he gets to face the Mancini, Nunez, Davis, Ricard wins. Like, if he gets to face the bottom of the order more than the top, it's not like the top's anything special, but man, there's some serious strikeout upside if he can get into a little bit of a rhythm, even in 5 innings.
Yeah, I mean, we saw with Beeks, it's not a bad spot to be in. And Beeks actually wasn't that great, but it was still, a decent enough pivot. So I don't know. Yeah, people are asking about Faria. People are asking about. I too got burned by this before by the Rays poker. I think it was when Matt Andriese was still on the team, and I went with him, and it ended up being Chirinos instead, even though reports were saying it was going to be Andriese. And now Andriese is not on the team, so that's not fully relevant, but. I don't know, man. I don't like playing this game unless we have a fully confirmed report like we had yesterday with Beeks, where it's like, hey, he's definitely going to be getting some run tonight. I'm okay with that. But the guessing game of it's a little risky, I think, at any sort of volume at least.
Yeah, that's the thing. So I have some exposure to, let's see what I have him. I just crunched again. Let's see. 27. That's to the point where I'm not super comfortable, but if he does get in, even for 4 innings, he could easily get you double-digit points. Where, and he might be the preferred option down there if Suarez or Nova gets blown up, which certainly could happen.
A lot of people touting the Rays today in the chat, which worries me a little, given how much I like the Rays. I felt like the Rays were going to be a little sneakier than this. I mean, not that they're low owned, but low enough. I don't love when everybody in the chat is talking about a stack I felt like was sneaky. Not a good stack.
They've kind of been like the sneaky stack that everybody says is a sneaky stack, and they end up being 15%. That's
yeah,
man. So I think the ownership's going to be spread out on top with those first four teams: Red Sox, Yankees, and then Coors. And then I don't think the Rays are going to be that far behind due to their prices. They fit well if you go with the Verlander Suarez pairing. You go with another stack, and then you just kind of throw in like Bowers, Choi, like Kiermaier, something like that, like mini stack. I think they're going to creep up there, especially the top 6.
Yeah, I mean, the one thing that I think is a decent pivot point is that you have the Choi Crone choice at first base, where one spot where the Rays, a very annoying position choices are going to be maybe helpful for you if you're trying to have a less chalky version of that stack. I mean, the Rays were not the chalk. The Rays were definitely not the chalk team. We still do have the Dodgers, we do have the Yankees, we do have Boston. So those teams are the chalk, but the Rays are not far behind. They're not as far behind as they probably should be.
Yeah. I'm just reading the chat. God. Faria will be available out of the bullpen for Thursday's series finale against the Orioles. Oh, good. So, all right, so Faria is at least active. He's got a chance to come in. It may not be Yanni. Rays are 3rd in our rankings, Josh? Oh, my. I know Hess isn't anything special, but I don't think he's the worst pitcher in the world.
Yeah, all this ownership kind of makes me think I might be wrong going with the Rays. It's like, I don't like it whenever it starts to hit that tipping point where all of a sudden you're like, oh, wait a minute. Like, now everybody's on this, and this pitcher is due to just have a day where he's not complete dog shit. I think that might be where we're at. Play Hess.
Yeah. No, well, let's not get crazy here. I don't think... If Hess had any sort of swing and miss, I would consider him. I have 2 David Hess lineups. Those are probably going to get scrubbed out here in my last crunch. That's probably more than I even want from good old Hess. But now I'm a little worried about Chirinos. I'm going to look on my own and see if I can figure this out.
We also, if you're a premium member of Osmo.com, we just had an ownership update that went out. So some changes there. I don't know if that's what Josh is referencing with his Tampa Bay saying they're 3rd in aggregate, but yeah, just gonna paste this in now. Let's start to do home run picks, because that is the bread and butter of this show, and people have come to know us for. We've had a lot of hot streaks. Josh and I are tied at 14. Jake not far behind. I've picked 6 out of the last 10 days. I've been correct. So I have the current hot streak. And with that comes the opportunity to pick first. And I'm going to go with Big Jake Bowers once again. Hit a home run for me last week. He's going to do it again.
Your sneaky chalk Rays. Nice. Let's see. Who am I going with? I won't go Coors. I think that's kind of a cop-out. Dude, who is there to pick tonight if you don't go Coors? All right.
Go against Suarez.
I'm going against my boy Ariel Jurado. I think he has a very abbreviated outing here. I'll go with, whose boy is this? Aaron Hicks. Is that Josh's?
Josh's favorite.
Okay.
So what happened with Aaron Hicks was I picked him one day and Josh was like, he's terrible, he's so terrible. Yeah. And then like the next day he was like, well, actually Aaron Hicks is in a good spot. So then he picked Aaron Hicks and he hit a home run in classic Chubster fashion. Fucking dingus.
That's funny.
But there we go. So Aaron Hicks for Jake. We have Big Jake Bowers for me. And who is Josh? Who is the Chubster himself? Josh Engelman going to go
Steve Pierce is a nice one that I like. The Gifted. That's Jake Marisnik Dong. Oh, that would be perfect. Jake Marisnik. I call him like the most overrated 9-hitter that's ever lived. People love the wraparound stack with the full Astros lineup. And they always play Marisnik. He ends up being like 7% on some slates. Last year, at least.
He comes through sometimes. Like he probably comes through, and he comes through big sometimes. I feel like you'll probably remember that. Like same thing with Jackie, where he's like, "Oh yeah, you could hit from there. It doesn't matter."
It's like what? Yeah, it's like one of those things where it works one time. One guy stacked 9, 1, 2, 3, 4, and like probably took down a huge GPP, and then everyone's like, oh, maybe the wraparound stack when the Astros play lefty because it's cheaper. It's like, okay, let's relax.
There've been a couple good wraparound stacks lately. I feel like Tom had one the other day too when the Padres went off against I think Leicester. And
Josh trolling you.
Gosh, you know the irony is it's going to be Ji-Man Choi who hits it for Tampa Bay.
The other, the 15th
third first baseman on the team. But there we go. Josh's pick is in. He's going with C.J. Cron. I have Jake Bowers, and Jake, your pick again is
Aaron Hicks.
Aaron Hicks. There we go. All right, let me put it in the tablet.
We got all the lineups now, by the way.
Oh, anything important in that last Giants lineup?
Slater batting 5th. I don't know if we expected that, but really does not change much. Just another righty in there for Nova.
Alan Hansen making the lineup, I think, is
new. He's interesting. I like it, Alan Hansen.
Well, especially going against Nova, who's worse versus lefties, I think is an interesting spot with Hansen as a switch hitter.
Yeah, I like Hansen just as a hitter. He always comes up high in my model. It's probably a short sample thing, but just hits the ball hard, doesn't strike out a ton, and that's what we're looking for, or at least what I'm looking for.
Let's see. I don't know if it's worth. Is it worth stacking against Nova tonight at all? Are you going with any Giants?
If I was, it would be like Crawford, Hansen, Panic. I want the lefties against Nova. And the park sucks. So if I was going to these guys, it'd probably be like a one-off. Just hope someone can get enough power to lift it over, hit a triple or something. Like, it's really tough with all these other great bats that you can afford tonight.
Yeah, it's interesting. I don't mind the bottom of the order part too. Like, I'm with you on that. I think I actually already had one before that, but I might throw Hansen in, I guess, just because. Ugh. Hansen doesn't look that great, though. I feel like he's cooled down enough from the beginning of the year when he had a very, very small sample size and he looked amazing. Now he's just kind of like, okay.
Yeah, he's not like a great play by any means, but he's just another lefty that I think you can use against Nova.
Josh Bell for minimum value on FanDuel, asking for thoughts. I mean, I don't know his FanDuel thing, but for minimum, I like him a lot. I think that Pirates lineup, the righties are going to be very good tonight. Suarez gives up a lot of hard contact to righties, Jason Kelly. You are correct. That is what I'm banking on.
Suarez does give up a lot of hard contact to righties. I've always targeted against him. Not always, but I have targeted against him a lot. So I don't think he's a phenomenal pitcher or anything, but tonight against the Pirates team that is below average against lefties to start with, now you put him in a terrible park, and it's hard not to like Suarez for a punt price when he's not on a pitch count.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. If we play Crone, we can't play your boy Choi, Josh. Tough choice. A little bit of a Sophie's choice of Rays for Josh today. But I agree. You got to have both Crone and Choi tonight because they grade out pretty similarly. Okay. Suarez or Nova? Which do you like more? I feel like I know which way this is going to go.
It's probably Suarez, but it's really close. It's like those are probably going to be my two highest exposed pitchers. Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's Nova for me, but I am noting I am afraid of that total. I am afraid of that total that Suarez has on his side. So I'm just hoping the Pirates just death by 1,000 cuts. They Homer Bailey him to death. that's my goal. Just single, double, single.
God, that's tilting. Homer
It wasn't the best. It wasn't the most fun. I'll admit that to have Homer Bailey the other night.
I was not pleased. And then I saw it was all singles. I was like, get out of here.
It was tough because it really felt like there were plays they could have made too, or at least like not hits that he had to give up, and it just over and over. That's why they play the games, folks. No matter how great, no matter how close to the Hall of Fame Homer Bailey is. Let's see, game stack Pittsburgh and San Francisco. I don't mind that. I think you're fading two chalky pitchers there, and who knows, maybe they have a big day.
Game stack, what was it?
Pittsburgh and San Francisco.
And go with the two top guys?
Yeah.
I mean, you could. It would certainly be a way to get different. I've seen people people I've talked to trying to like fit in Paxton and Verlander. It's tough. I mean, you could game stack that game or basically the Baltimore-Tampa game, and that is really about it. If you're looking at game stack.
Yeah, I agree. And then Mercer Marte lefty Masters. Look, you're saying all things that I like to hear. Kick's good, but Vegas disagrees with us, so it's not boding well. Not boding well. I guess Barucki thoughts one more time. Barucki, a very popular question today.
No, I don't like him. I don't like him. I'll leave it at that.
I don't like him. I think he might be able to mitigate damage enough to have an okay day and pick up a few strikeouts along the way. And that's my hope if you're playing Barucki, is that he'll be okay enough and he gets you off of Suarez and Nova, who I think both can get hit hard. So I think that is the reason to play Barucki. It's not a fantastic play, but it is a good way to get off the beaten path.
That is okay. Yeah, that's fine. I'm not going to trash the guy any longer.
Marte doesn't mash lefties. Yep, you are correct, David Kiefer. Marte is very, very bad versus lefties. So the fact that he is going to be so highly owned, apparently, versus a lefty today, probably a bit of a leverage point with the other parts of that lineup if you are a believer in Suarez getting rocked. Yankees Rays looks good with Hap. Sure. If you like hand, foot, and mouth disease, then that's your place to go.
That's super contagious, too. Hand, foot, and mouth.
What if the whole team just got infected with hand, foot, and mouth disease?
Actually, you know what? It's super contagious in children. In adults, I don't think it's as contagious. But, yeah. Hand, foot, and mouth sucks.
There was a theory, like, didn't Syndergaard have it? Or one of the Mets pitchers had it recently, too. And
yeah,
I think the theory was that he got it from making out with a dirty girl. was the popular theory.
I thought he got it from a kids camp.
I don't know. That was what I had heard or seen as a behind the scenes thing. Because he's a notorious, like, it's probably not a thing that I should say as a term, but say it once, pussy hound. He's a notorious pussy hound. And just like every chick on Instagram, he DMs and tries to bang. Like every girl who's attractive in the greater New York area, he tries to bang.
Who's
on
this?
Instagram. Syndergaard.
All right then.
So that's how you get hand, foot, and mouth disease. I don't know if that's true of J.A. Happ. That's
Jeez.
Seems like a good guy. Seems like a good hand, foot, and mouth guy. What a fun and confusing 6-game slate. I agree. I actually think the slate's pretty fun. Though, yeah, I am worried about the Suarez thing.
You should be. Cy Suarez tonight. I'm gonna be on this guy for the first time tonight, and it's gonna go terribly. He's my highest exposed pitcher. It's whatever.
I'm pretty sure we've talked about the Suarez experience before, like on the stream. I think like we're another night where he was gonna be chalky, and I was like, here's what's gonna happen: is he's gonna have like a couple of good innings. You're gonna be like, Suarez, you're fucking doing it, man. I love it. And he's gonna get rocked in like the third or fourth inning, and like uncontrollably rocked, where it just happens over and over and over again. And then that's what Andrew Suarez, usually playing him, is like, in my experience. Of course, now I say that it's going to be the opposite. He's going to throw fucking 10 Ks and be more as efficient as Porcello was.
He's just got to let me know right away. Like, do I need to stay up and watch this West Coast game, or am I good to go to sleep knowing I lost all my money? So I hope he doesn't just let me hang around for 4 innings and then get blown up in the 5th.
Yeah, no, I agree. What is this guy asking about? I don't think that's true about Marte. Marte doesn't have a good WRC plus, because I think my numbers look at the last 2 years. I'm pretty sure.
Marte against lefties?
Yeah.
No, he does not hit lefties well at all. Since the start of last year.
Yeah, I think because I'm pretty sure I can't load it right now on Fangraphs because we're streaming and that always screws everything up. But I'm pretty sure that my numbers are 2017 through 2018. So. He's just been that bad over that. Yeah, he's just been that bad over the entire stretch. So I don't know what that guy's looking at. Unless he's counting the year before, I guess.
Could be.
Have you guys ever watched Suarez pitch? The eyeball test tells me he is dog shit. He also looks confused a lot.
Suarez does?
Yeah, like when he's pitching, he looks confused and afraid. I might be projecting, but that's how I felt when I've watched him pitch a couple times.
Yeah, I don't watch Andrew Suarez pitch in my free time. I like to watch good pitchers like Trevor Cahill, Zach Godley, Tommy Malone.
Guys with the good stuff. Tommy Malone was a lot of fun yesterday. We slacked about that last night. But
yeah, he was.
Boy, that going against Tommy Malone was a treat and a privilege.
Yeah, I turned it on. It was. I turned it on right after he gave up the bomb. I was like, all right, whatever. He's done this before, where he's given up a few in the first couple innings and then kind of cruised. He couldn't miss any of these bats. Acuna was just sitting on it. You could just tell Acuna was going to homer if they kept him in. And they did let him go, which, whatever. But, yeah, they were just crushing him. He was just serving it up.
Anthony Mendoza is asking for an SP2 and just typing SP2 over and over again like a toddler. The odds of us we're literally talking all SP2s, by the way, this entire time. But because you're being so annoying about it, we are not going to discuss this deliberately. That is, you just have to learn sometimes.
Fires did well last night. Yep. I was watching that game too. I was talking about on the strategy video this morning with Josh. Watching Malone get crushed, I was like, all right, I still have a chance. I have my Braves hedge stacks. And then watching Fires just mow down the Dodgers. 1-2-3, 1-2-3, 1-2-3. With 6 strikeouts. That was enough for me to turn the TV off and be done.
Yeah, no, I mean, again, that's another point where the Vegas total didn't make sense, and they just knew that Fires was going to come out and pitch nasty for his new. That was his first start as an A, right? Pretty sure.
Fire, yeah.
Yeah, so that. Maybe a little narrative street that paid off. I don't know. They clearly saw something that was right there.
Yep. Apparently.
And that is generally, too, I think that's a reason why usually playing the Vegas lines is the approach to do, like playing them straight up for the most part. Because a lot of times you'll end up with the Fires guys, and it was right there in front of you that whole time. Is Freese a pivot off of Marte? Yes, yeah, he would be. And again, just go with the righties who aren't Marte in that Pittsburgh lineup if you are trying to fade Suarez.
Sure.
If you're trying to attack Suarez. It's okay. If there's any reason to not believe in Suarez tonight, it's that Josh Engelman has 61% of it.
Josh, you have. Oh God. I have. Hold on. Let's see. On DK. 55%. So Josh making an even stronger stand than I am. That doesn't feel good. I thought I was the one who makes big ownership stands. But Josh has me beat. I wonder
he's been making a lot of big stands lately with the shitty pitchers for some reason. Like he's like cruising into shitty pitcher town and loving it every time.
Hey, you gotta. When you get that 5K pitcher once a year, that gets you 30 points. It's worth it. Then you try to chase that for the rest of the year, and it doesn't work out.
I still think it's the right approach. I just think some of these pitchers that we're picking are questionable. Like I would rather, and it's stupid, I would rather go Baraki, like hoping to fully fade like a very highly owned Boston thing, than go Suarez and know like he kind of sucks and he might get blown up and I'm be even more annoyed. Like I'd rather go with the guy who I'm like, you're worse, but I trust you more for some reason. I don't know. I feel like the pitchers are like, it really fucks with your head when you're playing all these terrible pitchers.
Yeah. There's some guys that I play that I don't think are terrible, that are priced like this. Like there's a guy tomorrow that I like that's 5,500, but I think he's pretty good, or can be pretty good. 30% Nova. Josh, I have more Nova than you. Yeah, I got more than that.
Sean V, Ryan Baraki, Redemption Day. All right, Sean V. Look, your picks have been good. If you are right about Ryan Baraki, I'll remember that. But I still don't agree with your philosophies and approaches to why you land on your picks.
Redemption? He's been fine. Is he like from the Red Sox system or something?
Maybe.
Redemption.
Yeah, he's actually been pretty good against about just having okay days. He's been pretty good just being mediocre. So yeah. I think that's what I'm expecting today.
Yeah, Bellinger I like a lot. Anderson actually has trouble with lefties. He's not shut down lefty, and Bellinger can hit lefties for power. So I like Bellinger. I have a bunch of him. Yeah, I like that a lot.
Yeah, Anderson gives up more home runs to lefties. So yeah, I think you're right on that. Yeah, Bellinger is an interesting play that people will avoid because they'll think, oh, lefty, but yeah, Anderson's not that great versus lefties.
Hap? Yeah, I didn't end up with as much hap as I thought I would. Just 7%. So, I mean, I'd like to get more than that. I might actually try to force more in, but we'll see if I have time for that.
Brain Grippa hoping that Joey Gallo hits 2 home runs and to fade the Pierce chalk. What you should be doing is going with Jake Bowers. That's the guy. If you want to get off the Steve Pierce chalk or really anybody at first base, go to Jake Bowers. Thank us later. Thank me later. Not us. Pierce chalk equals 6 or 3 dongs. I really hope not, because I'm not playing any Pierce tonight.
3 dongs again? If he does that twice in a week, I mean, we're going to have to test this guy.
Just hates his fellow AL East teams more than anything. It's almost AFC East. Let's see. Anything good? Chat, if you want to drop some either-ors, now we'll do them. Oh, home run picks, please. I picked Jake Bowers. Josh picked CJ Crone. And Jake picked Aaron Hicks. So those are our 3 home run picks for the day.
Aaron Hicks, auto dong. I think I'm going to get like 2 or 3 back on you guys tonight. Hicks is going double dong, though.
Those actually don't count. They're only a tiebreaker.
Oh, what?
Yeah.
Oh, I thought they counted.
No. Like, because technically I would be in the lead right now. Actually, technically I am in the lead because it's a tiebreaker because I have Matt Olson who hit the only guy who's hit a double dong that we picked. But no, it's like it just is a tiebreaker basically. So if you had 14-2 and then I guess you had a guy who had a triple dong day, then he would beat Matt Olson's double dong day.
Hell yeah.
Or if you had Matt Carpenter's 4 home run day, then everybody's fucked. You just have an ace in your sleeve.
Did Carpenter had a 4 home run game this year?
I think he did. Didn't he have that 3. When he had the 60-point day or whatever? I
thought it was 3 and like 2 doubles or something crazy.
I think you might be right, actually. I think you might be right. I think it was like a neat 64 or something, so that's why I feel like I remember it being 4 home runs. But,
oh yeah, he definitely got up there. There's no doubt about that. Yeah, okay, so I reran my crunch. I ended up with 13% hap now. So still would like a little more, but I don't think I'll be ready to do that. I think I gotta call it at some point so I get these lineups in.
Let's see. People arguing about Barucki in the chat. Look, Barucki is an up and down player. We've talked about these guys. The guys are cheap because they're volatile. That's why. It's not like there aren't unearthed treasure troves down there. Like Barucki's like an amazing pitcher. He's an okay pitcher who might get rocked, might not get rocked. That's all.
I mean, I think Barucki is less than okay. I don't think he's very good.
No, which is fair. I think he just limits hard contact enough where he can be like middling.
He can have okay starts. Yeah, he could have another okay start. It wouldn't change my opinion unless he's just fanning guys left and right. But there's no way he's doing that against the Red Sox. If he survives the start, it's going to be with just limiting hard contact like he's done a decent job of.
Yeah, I think I'm with you on that. I think though, like I do favor guys who just give up good soft contact. Mm-hmm. Like if you're gonna play a shitty guy, like at least play a shitty guy who's not giving up hard contact. I think that's sort of how I feel about it. And then Barucki's been good enough at limiting it, keeping balls down. I think that's all. That's all I want out of him. Just keep your balls down, buddy.
Yeah, of course.
Mm-hmm. Brandon Lowe dong. Heard it here first. Brandon Lowe is not my favorite play on the slate.
Brandon Lowe. I actually have some of him. He's fine.
I have a little bit of him to be contrarian with my Rays stack, but I'm not. He's just super cheap, but I don't think there's anything where I'm crazy about that he's done in the majors yet. Sure. Should start a drinking game where every time you say dong, you have to drink, and double dong is 2 drinks, maybe on Fridays. I mean, look, you guys can drink at home whenever you want. I think that's really okay. 38% Brandon Lowe for Josh. Josh is just going crazy lately.
On a hitter? I've never seen Josh play a hitter 38%. Besides like Stanton, he plays like 80% Stanton every night.
I feel like he is like losing his mind from going on a little cold streak. He went from being a tout boy to the cold streak boy, and now he's just going fucking nuts with it. Throwing out Brandon Lowe's and Suarez's and Nova's. Just going crazy. Mad scientist, Josh. How are you handling notes now? Are you still riding with him?
Yeah, I'm still riding with him. reluctantly riding with it. But I know that in 20% of my lineups, I could certainly have a 0. So you got to know that risk.
Ownership cap for Josh on a 6-game slate is 53%. It could have been worse. Right? Yeah, it could be.
You mean better? Why didn't you pick this guy, Brandon Lowe, for your homer?
Yeah, true. If you love Brandon Lowe that much.
50% Stanton? I thought you would just press the lock button.
That's good. Pick the guy the day after he hits a grand slam. Hansen or Panic, same price on FanDuel. Hansen has more upside. Agreed. I'd actually probably go Panic.
Hansen or Panic? I would go Hansen there.
It's not. Yeah, it's close for me, but I think it's Panic by a little. Just got in. How are we on Yanni? How much Yanni can we talk? How are we on Yanni? One more time.
I'm playing him. I don't have confidence. I don't have 100% confidence that he's getting in the game because we've already seen it with the Rays that they've just not stuck to the plan. It's not their job to stick to the plan. They're trying to win games. So he may not come in, but I have him in 20% of my lineups. So I know the risk, and hopefully it pays off. He's going to be very low owned, and he's going to hopefully get in and get to face some bad Baltimore righties.
Victory only goes to the brave, Jake. Victory only goes to the brave.
Exactly.
Cron or Choi for first baseman in Tampa Bay stack? Who would you go with?
Cron or Choi? Choi. Yeah, Choi.
So I think I went more Cron than Choi. The strikeout differential is what put me over the top. Just Cron strikes out 8% less than Choi does. But Choi has a more likelihood of hitting a home run, so that's the trade-off you're making. But I think both are pretty comparable.
Yeah.
And I guess Choi gets him from the lefty side, and Hess is a little worse versus lefties. So
sure,
that's another pro for Choi. How is it that you guys can set the exposure on pitchers, but also max all the total pitchers to not exceed a certain percent?
Max all the total pitchers to not exceed. I don't understand that. Do you understand it?
I think he's asking. I mean, I didn't initially. I think he's asking like, how do you get them up? Like, if you have an ownership cap of like 30%, how do you get them to actually get to 30%? I guess you would just raise the projection. Would be the only way to do that.
Yeah, you could raise the projection. That's what I do. I mean, I make a lot of manual changes because projections don't always work like you want them to. If a guy gets a lineup bump or whatever, you could add a point or add a couple points depending on your projections. Randomness too, yeah. Can increase randomness.
Josh laid out his low case, priced under $3,000, projected to leave average hitter in the majors versus the shittiest pitcher in baseball. Look, that's fine. I like.
He's not even the worst pitcher on the slate.
Oh no, he is.
Girado's worse than him. Barucki's worse than him.
Not in terms of actual statistical data, though. Hess gives up the most home runs. Hess gives up the most walks and hits.
Hess is fine. Cy Hess tonight. Hess complete game shutout tonight.
Look, it wouldn't surprise me given all the Rays talk we've done. That is how this goes.
Kevin McKay, 30. I don't know if Anderson can get to 30, but I think there's a chance he could get to 22, 25. There's not a ton of strikeout upside on the Dodgers, but if he's got it working, we've seen him do it in Coors before. So this is a tough matchup, but he is a really good pitcher in my opinion. So I have a ton of Dodger stacks, but I do have some Anderson because if he's on, he could mow him down.
Would you go Russell Martin and Malik Smith or Posey and Gardner on DK?
Martin, Malik Smith. Ooh, that's a weird one. Malik Smith has big steal upside here, but I think I would go Posey Gardner.
I would go Malik's and pretty much anybody, so I guess Martin in that case. I like Malik's a lot in this matchup. He should be able to get some steals, and also, again, Hess very bad versus lefties. And Malik's is pretty good versus righties. Mm, Dodgers are hurt. Kemp is dinged, etc.
It's fine.
I think that'll be mitigated by Coors, even if that is the case.
Someone said something about Boston being bad against lefties. I mean, they were at the beginning of the year. Lately, they've been better in terms of WRC plus. They can hit lefties. Like, maybe not the bottom of their lineup, but their top of their lineup can hit lefties. They've had Pierce for like a week and a half. He's a big boost against lefties for them. Betts, JD, Bogarts, these guys can all hit lefties really, really well.
Yeah, I think the top of the order is going to be problematic, but yeah, hey, the hope is that Berucki can just get soft contact. That's all we're looking for, and just don't get bombed.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just. Do you like Chirino? Wait, which Chirinos? Which Chirinos, Jason? Yanni or Robinson?
I'm guessing it's Yanni.
I like Robinson more than Yanni. Okay, Chris, just pasting the same thing over and over again. I still don't know what you're talking about, Chris Fernandez. We tried. Tried as best we could. As Fantasy Crutcher. I mean, that's their site. Boom, boom, boom. So people just naming their picks now. Sure.
Dude, why do I always get called while I'm on the stream? It's like no one calls me the entire day, and then as soon as I get on this, everyone wants to call me.
No respect.
And
people don't know you.
I mean, like carpet company, just like random stuff, like just stuff that does not need to be dealt with right now.
What would you change for a person who has 60% Suarez and Nova, 50% Hap, and 16% Paxton Verlander? I would go down on Suarez and Nova.
I mean, I'm similar on Suarez and Nova, so I wouldn't change that much. Yeah. I don't think there's anything wrong with that. You're going to be different for lineup construction. So that's very important on a short slate.
What about the Dodgers away? They struggle on the road. I don't think that would apply to Coors, personally.
It's Coors. I mean, if they're going to hit Anderson, they're going to hit Anderson, and the ball's going to go a long way.
I'd rather play Suarez or Nova in a better environment than Berucki. I mean, that's not weighing ownership. That's how I feel about it. Like, if you're weighing ownership, I think Berucki. Like, I'm still playing Suarez and Nova, to be clear. Like, just not as much as Josh and Jake are, or the field is. But like, I think the point of playing Berucki is you're getting away from Suarez and Nova. So, what you're saying, you'd rather play it? Yes, you and most of the field.
And you're getting leverage off the Red Sox, which I understand, but I like to get leverage with pitchers off of a chalky stack when I know the guy can miss bats, and
when the guy can do anything, it's more helpful. I'll agree with you there.
Right. So like Barack, like what's his upside? Even if he doesn't get blown up, like his upside's like 6 innings, 3 Ks, 4 Ks maybe. So
his upside's the 15 points that he gets every time out. It seems like, other than when he has like a bad day. I think it's just how I'm viewing it. If he gets 15 points and Suarez gets 10 or like negatives, I mean, that'd be great.
Yeah, so you're gonna need those guys to not do well, Nova and Suarez.
Yes.
Yes. Man, I just have a hard time thinking that neither of them get double digits. I would be pretty surprised.
Is Hap really going to be low owned? No, Hap's not going to be low owned. We currently have Hap projected to be a little under 30%, so he's not.
Yeah, that's one I wish I had more of, is Hap. But
better leverage play is Hess. I think, Kevin Zoe, you're not wrong about Hess being a better leverage play now that we know. But we've been on the stream this whole time, and I'm not changing my Rays lineups now.
I think Hess is a better leverage play than Berucki. I agree there. Even though I
agree too. I'm not doing it. Ride or die with the Rays tonight, but I think you're right. But I think it's all relative though. Like, there's still a lot of ownership on Boston, so I think that's also like, that's a better leverage play on ownership, talent wise and matchup wise. Hess is a better leverage play. Yeah. Thoughts on Granderson? Thoughts about, I guess, the Blue Jays in general? We didn't talk much about them going against
We didn't talk much about them. They're decently owned, I think. Or at least they were this morning. I'm not crazy about them against Porcello just because I think Porcello is a good real life pitcher, limits hard contact very well. Just coming off a complete game, like not that that really matters, but does a good job of going deep most starts. And I don't like any of the Blue Jays hitters. Like I like Smoke, but not enough where I'm like I gotta get me some Justin Smoke. So I just don't like the individual matchups against Porcello.
Yeah, I agree with that too. I think Porcello doesn't get enough respect. He's one of those guys like a Rich Hill type sort of people I think for some reason have some bias against, and they ends up lower owned than he should be. So I'm okay with it, and I think just Toronto's a little over owned too. If they were like 5% range cumulatively, then I think I would be a little more into it. But if they're all above 10% or close to 10%, I'm not as crazy.
Yeah.
Let's see. Quadruple stack Shoe, Odar, Profar, Gallo against Hap all day. I would avoid the lefties, but I think stacking against Hap is not a bad idea. Well, against that hand, foot, and mouth.
Wait, say that again.
He's saying to stack Shoe, Odor, Profar, Gallo against Hap. I think you go with the righties more than just all those guys.
I like Profar, and I mean I like Gallo against either hand. If he makes contact, it's got a chance to get out. So. Chu hits lefties okay. Odor does as well. I mean, it's gonna be super contrarian. That stack, like any non-top 5 stack tonight, is gonna be very, very low owned.
Yeah, I'm with you there. Hap is filthy against lefties, but maybe he's still not 100%. That's possible, but yeah, I think I would rather go with the righties there if you were gonna go against Hap because I think it's a pretty noticeable split, and he just also limits hard contact really well versus lefties.
I mean, all right. Grain, Grippa, Candy, Paint, Drippa. I like targeting the pitcher coming off an injury. I mean, yeah, but this isn't like an injured arm where like his velocity could be down. Yeah, he might not like feel the greatest, but once you get that adrenaline going, he should be fine, like full strength. This is not a hand injury. This is not a plant foot injury where he should get pulled out of this game. He should be able to pitch fine.
Yeah, I mean, I would worry a little bit about being weak. I think if you said it's like strep throat, like I know I usually feel like pretty weak after having strep throat, so I think that would be the one caveat. But he is a professional athlete, so
yeah, he's gonna be.
In August.
They'll give him an IV or whatever. He's fine.
How about Freeze and Mabin tonight? What? Mabin? Who's?
Cameron Maben? Oh, I don't like Cameron Maben at all. Against Verlander?
Yeah, no, that's Freeze I'm okay with.
Yeah.
Mabin, I don't know why you would think that.
Freeze is fine. I mean, batting cleanup against a guy who gives up a ton of hard contact probably doesn't have a great chance to homer, but he's perfectly fine against lefties.
I think if I did do this in one lineup. So if I were going to take anybody out of that Seattle lineup tonight, just to kind of ding Verlander, I don't think Verlander's going to get rocked at all. But I think he could give up a home run to a lefty. So I would go Kyle Seager out of that lineup if you were going to try to one-off and pivot off Verlander. Almost a 4% home run rate to lefties.
That's fair.
Verlander.
Yeah, he does definitely. He's not into walking guys, so there's going to be pitches over the middle of the plate for Verlander, like there always are. Like we saw him get touched up against Detroit, like 3 or 4 home runs. He just will make you hit his pitches, and he's going to try to throw the fastball by you.
Jack Perry likes Pittsburgh as a leverage stack. I do too, Jack Perry, and we're locked, right? It's not like a weird 4-10 or 7-10 night.
No, I think we are locked. Yep, the
Okay,
Yankee
good.
game is locked. Aaron Hicks
so we're
about to dong in about 10 minutes.
I'm sure. And Jake Bowers is going to get struck out by Hess 5 times.
Yeah, where are the likes, people? Jason Sullivan's right. 100.
That's one I don't police them much on. And I kind of just let those ride. Should maybe be meaner about likes.
If I don't win, I hope you all do. Yeah, that's how I feel too. I hope you win second.
Okay.
You can have second place.
Just went Marte and Nova in a leverage entry. No Marte. Don't go Marte. All right, guys. Yeah, hit the like button for us, please. But that's enough for today. Our last question from Jack Perry. Do you guys do much post-lock adjusting?
Not really, unless there's a lineup that still hasn't come out or something. Or like my crunch got messed up and I had to switch to all late slate guys or something like that. But no, I don't. I try not to. I try to be done and get away from my computer for a couple hours.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think it's good to just walk away if you can. And usually there's 6 games. Nothing's going to change here. So yeah. All right, guys, thanks for watching. Make sure to like the video, subscribe to the channel so you'll get all of the video content that we put out. Obviously, we do live before lock every day. Jake and Josh will be back in the morning. Jake will have the Night Shift podcast, giving the earliest preview in the world of DFS of tomorrow's MLB slate. And tomorrow, actually, Josh and I will be going live talking NFL tight ends. It's going to be a quicker video than some of the other ones, and there actually are some interesting things that I unearthed while doing my research, so go tune in for that. Just come hang out with us. It'll be in the middle of the day, probably, East Coast time. Any parting words, Jake, before we go watch Andrew Suarez get beaten up, hopefully?
Yeah, go late game pitchers and early game bats. Here we go.
Yay. It's a fun 6-game slate. Good luck out there, guys. We'll see you tomorrow.